Hello and welcome to another episode about the extension and the construction of Heaton Lodge Junction. My name's Simon George. Now you're probably wondering, where are we this time? Well, we're not at Heaton Lodge Junction, as you can probably guess. It's a bit too open for that. We are in fact up at Dent Station on the Settle Carlisle line. Dent Station is 200 yards in front of me, and behind me is the base for the old Dent Station signal box. Now I've been coming up here just like Heaton Lodge Junction for years and years. For those of you that are interested, my father actually, who died when I was very young, was Canon of Wakefield Cathedral, and his boss was Eric Tracy, the Bishop of Wakefield Cathedral. So that's why there's a connection, because Eric Tracy used to come up here an awful lot, and I can see why he did. It's so beautiful. But before we go any further, I just wanted to let you know about what we've got in this video coming up shortly. And it's all about speed this time, because I really had to work quite fast when I was constructing Heaton Lodge Phase 1. Even though it took me 6 years, I really wanted to make a good job of things, but I also needed to move quickly. So I thought it'd be really good to give you a lesson. Sounds very pompous, but just to give you some hints and tips on how to construct and make static grass, especially the static grass that you see, or the grass that you see on embankments and cuttings of railway lines. Now, I think I had to do about 50 square meters of that. So I kind of learned some techniques which I hope will be really useful to you. So if you just stay tuned in, I'm going to go through that with you today. The third thing we're going to be covering is the delivery of Dewsbury Station building, the model, of course, which has just landed, built by Richard Ellis of Monksgate Models, and it's a real work of art. So we're going to be having a look at that in detail. I'm just waiting. I was hoping actually that during this first part of this video, a 66 are compiling through with the cement train, but it hasn't been through yet. We'll wait until it does. But once it's been through, we'll go back down to the basement and we'll get cracking. So see you shortly. So, as you can see, we're back down in the basement again. I was just looking at these gantries in the background on the video camera, and it just struck me that when you look at the length of the 150 foot of what's going to be the marshalling yard, fully operational marshalling yard, of course, I'm going to need some more of these gantry towers. So, Steve, if you're watching, I hope you're going to get your tools out again, because I'm going to need, I think, at least another 5 or 6. But anyway, digressing. I also wanted to say a massive thank you to all of you that donated on the Just Giving page for that I featured the Just Giving crowdfunding appeal. That's the words I'm looking for in the last video. So thanks ever so much to you, to all of you that gave 25 or some of you £100. It's going to be an epic layout, this, and one, as I've said in the last video, again, that we can all enjoy. So again, the link to that crowdfunding Just Giving page is in the description of this video. So if you can reach into your pockets and donate, I would be really, really grateful. And in a second, I'm going to show you, well, in a couple of minutes actually, I'm going to show you what that money went towards paying for, which is a big station building, which some of you may have seen or may not have seen at a recent exhibition. not of the layout. One was just a trade show actually at Kempton Park, the O-Gauge Guild. But before we do that, let's go to Norfolk, talk to Tim Horn at Tim Horn Baseboards. He's building the power station building. He's not building the cooling towers, but he's going to be building the power station building. And let's see how he's getting on. So we're with Tim, and we're just cutting the. In fact, Tim, can you just explain what this laser's doing? Because it's actually cutting. Is it the sides of the power station building?
Yeah, that's right, Simon. So at the moment we're just etching the concrete panels.
Yeah.
So they're, I think they were 10 centimetre squares.
Yeah, that's right. Sounds right.
So the laser's probably at about 20% of its full power.
Got you.
So it's just like scribing the line.
Yeah.
And we're just, I think we're coming to the last one now. And then
Yeah.
the next one will be cutting out the windows, which you should do just after it's finished this line.
That's interesting. So what I'm going to be doing is, when this is finished and the building's actually constructed, I'm just going to be painting it, priming it, well, spraying it a concrete colour, just to mimic the sides of your typical turbine house of a power station. Yeah. So it's cutting the window now, is that right?
So it's now cutting, I think, the inner panel of the window.
Yeah.
And we're actually cutting 4mm MDF.
Right, got you.
Which a lot of people knock MDF, but it's actually quite a nice material for laser cutting, because there's no natural flaws in it, because it's all man-made.
Right, okay.
So there's no hidden knots or any nasty bits and pieces in it.
Just out of interest, how does MDF compare to plywood in terms of cost? Because I know plywood's gone through the roof.
Yeah, MDF went through the roof a couple of years ago because it was difficult to get hold of plywood, because most of the plywood in Europe came from Russia.
Yeah.
And then the next thing to use is MDF. So everyone stopped using plywood and went to MDF.
Right, right, okay.
So the cost shot up, but it's now come down again.
No, that's great, and I can see it's actually just popped a window through now.
Yeah, so they should.
How many is it making on this one? Do you remember?
I think there's 5.
5, right? Okay, yeah. Thanks again, Tim, for having me. So, without further ado, we're just going to go over to the static grass workshop now, and I'm just going to show you exactly how to kind of perfect the static grass that you see on Heaton Lodge. One important thing with this is, if you've never been 100% happy with your own static grass, or your own scenery for that matter, you can easily use this technique to daub over your existing scenery and just improve it by way of what I'm going to show you now. So all's not lost if you've already got scenery that's already down. Let's show you the ingredients first, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly go through the ingredients I use for the grass on Heaton Lodge, and just let me make it clear that on Heaton Lodge, most of the grass is really overgrown, just like the real thing on the side of railway embankments, etc. And these ingredients are really what you need to make the grass look ultra realistic. The technique you use is dead simple. It couldn't be easier, but you do need the right ingredients, and these are what I use. Very briefly, just PVA glue, which is PVA glue. I don't use anything specialist. The 2 grass fibres you need, the colouring to get that winter grass kind of look, or any grass. To be honest, all the way through the year, embankments are overgrown, and these 2 ingredients will make it look really good. And they consist of Mini Nature, which is on the left, Mini Nature Autumn Fall, and the other one is Knock Wildgrass. So Mini Nature Autumn Fall and Knock Wildgrass, and these are just mixed together by hand, just with your fingers, before you put it in the static grass machine. The other thing you need is a bit of blended turf, which is by Woodland Scenics, and you sprinkle that on, but again I'll show you the technique of that in a second. But the magic ingredient is, there's two ways you can do this. I use Tremendous earth powder. So it's Tremendous, which is coming up on your screen. The earth powder, it's about £5 a packet. It goes an awful long way, but it gives it a really matte appearance, which is really crucial. The other thing that I do, if I haven't got any, if I've run out of Tremendous earth powder, is I use crushed earth. So I'll simply go out into the garden, get a few clods of earth, mash them up, and just dry them out on a baking tray or whatever, and crush them down with a rolling pin, so it's just like silt, and that works just as well. So Tremendous earth powder, or just simply crushed earth. Other thing is a few pebbles. You can get these off your drive, or you can just buy a big pack in B&Q, but the pebbles give this kind of clumps appearance, which you see on railway embankments all the time. They're never smooth, they always have big clumps in them. The varnish that I use, which is to build the layers up, which again I'll show you the technique to doing that in a minute, is just basically Rust-Oleum Crystal Clear. Don't get that from B&Q. It's about 10 or 11 quid a can. It's really expensive. But if you go on the internet or just on Google, Crystal Clear, Rust-Oleum Crystal Clear matte varnish, it's about £5 or £6 a can if you get it on the internet. And of course, the other thing we need is a static grass gun. I use a variety of different ones. This is quite an inexpensive one by Knock, but you know, they all work basically as well as each other. So those are the ingredients you need. You need a static grass gun. You need the crystal clear Rust-Oleum varnish, a few pebbles. Ideally, you could do with the Woodland Scenics blended turf, the two mixes of the static grass themselves that I've mentioned, which is Knock Wildgrass and Mini Nature Autumn Fall, PVA glue, and of course the earth powder from Tremendous, or just crushed earth. So let's go over and just do a quick demonstration. And I'm going to make this quick because I had to do 50 square meters at least of this stuff, and I had hair fibers up my nose and my ears and everything else. So we need to do it quickly, and I'll show you just how to get a really, really good result. Let's go and have a look. Okay, here we are. Now I've just got a random piece of polystyrene here that I'm just going to paint over. I just want to say one thing, that if you've got existing static grass and you've never really liked it, all you can do to really vastly improve it is simply daub this cheap PVA glue over the top of your existing static grass, and you will find it absolutely transforms it. So don't worry if you've already done it before. Okay, so just a little bit of PVA glue, quite a lot actually, of PVA glue. I sprinkle a few pebbles on, and these are just to represent the tufts of grass. Again, don't worry about making a mess. It all looks a bit, well, not brilliant at the moment. Put a few more pebbles in actually. Just going to do this as quick as I can because I just want to show you just how easy it is. Okay, now I've already loaded the I've already loaded the static grass gun with some fibres. I'm just going to top it up actually I've mixed these two together in this box here, just a dapple box. So the Mini Nature and the Knock are mixed together just by hand. Filled up the hopper, attached it to the screw that you might see, switch on the tool, and here we go. And these static grass fibres will stand up over the top of the of what's going to be the tufts of grass. So you can see how this is working out. Those tufts of grass, which are really the pebbles, of course, are going to disappear soon enough. So there we go. You see, that's not too bad. Now, next bit is the silt, or the tremendous earth powder, which I just sprinkle liberally. It's probably a little bit too liberal, but never mind. Over the top of it. And what this does is it fills all the miniature gaps between the static grass fibres. So it immediately mats everything down. You can already see how it's taking shape. And this is only one layer. So what I would normally do then is we've used the PVA glue, we go onto the varnish, like so, and give it a good squirt so you can actually see it on top of these fibres. Okay, back to the static grass holder. I'm just topping it up with some more fibres, and then we've got, turn it on, and here we go again. The battery's out the way. So do you see how that is now? If you imagine this is on a railway embankment, this is obviously flat, but if this was on a railway embankment, this will suddenly start looking really good. Very quickly, another squirt of matte varnish. We've got a bit more sprinkling of earth powder. Oh God, got a bit too much on that, never mind. But it doesn't matter, because you can do as many layers as you want. I mean, I'm doing a really small surface here, but at the time, as you know, I had a lot more of this to do. So I was having to do probably 2 or 3 square meters a day to keep up. More varnish on top. Switch on the static grass again. A few more fibres on top. And then just one final coat of matte varnish again. And then finally, when I find it, we've got the blended turf it's earth blend rather, by, I use Woodland Scenics. Just opening it now, as you can probably hear. Just a little bit of this represents kind of a few weeds and things on top. Now, I should say as well, if you want a more wintry appearance, you can mix more. I should have said earlier, you can mix more of the winter grass to the mini nature autumn fall blend. So I've done a 50-50 here, but you can do more or less of what you want. One more squirt of varnish, and that is just about it. And if you take a better look, let's just go and have a look now. You've got some really good. Let's just put a bit more of the earth powder. You've got a really good representation of a railway embankment. I hope the static grass demonstration was useful to some of you. Now we are looking at the new delivery, which is of course of Dewsbury Station building. It's built by Richard Ellis of Monksgate Models, and what a fantastic job he's done. Some of you will know that the original Dewsbury Station is of course still there. It's an LNWR station, pretty much typical LNWR from the 1840s. But this building, it really is epic. It's difficult to give you an idea of the size of it as well, because there's no trains passing or O-gauge trains to give you some perspective. But honestly, it really is huge, and it's the Richard's really got the colouring right. He's got the windows spot on, as well as the roof, which is really important. There's quite a lot of integration, obviously, I'm going to need to do, as you can see, making it fit into where the platforms are going. There's also the footbridge to build. But when this is done, it really is going to be a real kind of showpiece at this side of the layout. So yeah, here we have it. And also I should say that some of the money that paid for this came from the crowdfunding appeal, which I did in the last video. So again, to those of you who donated, thanks ever so much. Dewsbury Station building. First station that I've seen on this layout ever. So there we have it, the end of another video. We've got a lot coming up in the next video actually, including Hellion's, a review of Hellion's new inspection saloon, which should be coming up on your video. And what a fine model it is, together with Hellion's new Class 45 with the sealed beam headlights. That's all coming up next month. Just remains for me to say, please like and subscribe as ever. Thanks ever so much to all of you that donated in the crowdfunding. I'm always grateful for it. And the link, of course, as ever again, is in the description. So I'll see you next month. Thanks for watching.